I was just going to go over some of the highlights of our monthly operations report on stormwater that is available on our website, tampa.gov/mobility. Do I zoom this way? There you go. There we go. You all can see this? Mm-hmm. Okay. So as before, we put out our monthly report on the website. I will share some of the highlights and some of the things that have changed from month to month or from one year to the next, just to give an overall picture of where we are on the operations side of the stormwater program. Each month we list out all of the calls that we have. I wanted to point out that year to date, the first 6 months of this calendar year, we are at 70% high or 74% higher call volume compared to the same time frame of 2024. I think last month I mentioned to you my expectation would be that delta sort of normalizes, reduces as we get deeper into the storm season, knowing the trajectory and the increase in call volume late in the year last year. But it is a useful metric for me to look at to see, what the interest of the community is and how it has risen with respect to our stormwater system. I will also point out that for the month of June, we are at roughly double the call volume from June of 2024. I think that reflects some significant storm events, including on June 2nd when we had, I believe it was about 2.5 inches of rain over a 20-minute period in South Tampa. For the most part, those calls over the course of June were more than half over flooding issues or improper drainage or backup issues. Again, sort of reflecting what we would anticipate with some of the larger events that happened during the month of June.
Just quickly, it says calls for service April 20th.
That should say June.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
thank you.
A few highlights from what we did perform through the month of June. We regraded 3,400 linear feet of ditches and mowed 83 miles of ditches. I've mentioned to you all before, our mowing cycle on our ditch system is 28 days, basically once a month to get to that. So when we talk about the maintenance of the ditch system, that's twofold. Generally we regrade and reestablish that flow line on a smaller percentage of ditches over the course of any given time frame, but we do continue to mow on a regular basis. Our ponds, we repaired 2,884 linear feet of fence. That's just fencing that is around those parcels that are part of the stormwater system. Generally, that's done through contract labor, particularly if there are larger repair requests, larger work orders, as I'll show you an example of here in just a minute. Our internal crews will do some minor repairs on that fence system. With respect to cave-ins, when I came before you last month, we were at about a 50-50 split on how many have been performed by a contract and how many have been performed by our in-house team. That balance has shifted. We did 8 with in-house crews and 26 with contractor crews. That is reflective a little bit of our shift toward focusing our in-house crews on more routine maintenance, but also getting those contracts that were just getting up to speed over that previous monthly report period and getting them really focused on completing that backlog of cave-in repairs. Again, the report itself goes through all of our accomplishments with just some highlights that I wanted to bring to your attention. As always, calls for service, we answer the phone 24/7 at 274-3101. Some highlights, again, just visually of what we have done in the month of June. We regraded the Lemon Street ditch, as you can see with the spider excavator in the during picture there. We have also been installing cameras at all of our pump stations. They serve a dual purpose for monitoring of operation and just for security as well. Again, I believe I mentioned last month that we have our in-house crews do some construction and repair on damaged infrastructure, as well as shown here with the Morrison and Grady inlet top repair. And then last, as I mentioned, we had done a significant number of fence repairs, or a significant quantity of fence repair over the last month. This particular fence is in the Forest Hills area and had been damaged and was mostly, maybe completely replaced. Everything in the picture, at least, was replaced altogether. So with that, I know we will discuss in more depth and in more detail at the upcoming budget breakout, but happy to answer any questions that you've got here and now.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Thank you. What is the fencing? I mean, fencing, I was thinking, chain link fence, keeping people out of stormwater ponds. What does the fencing do? Because we've had some questions about stormwater and do they, why do they do fencing?
Sure. No, I think the answer would be different depending on the facility. I don't know the exact breakdown, but generally our fencing is chain link fencing. This one in particular happened to be like a split rail or similar type of fencing. So that one may have been in place in part for aesthetic purposes, but typically with our stormwater ponds, if there is a risk that we want to keep people from interacting with, we'll have a chain link fence in place. So the balance is more toward that chain link style fence.
Can you speak to the new equipment that you have added? Looks like that spider, I believe that's new and or repair.
So that spider is the one that we have had on hand. I know that there was some discussion about that $12 million budget allocation earlier today. Among the things that we intend to do with the stormwater portion of that allocation is to acquire a new spider. So we would have two at that point.
Okay, excellent. And just to make sure, you're expecting $3.5 million from us.
3.5, so from that budget allocation, I think it's broken down. I thought it was a different number, but it's whatever's broken down.
Well, initially it was 2.5 plus the 500 we allocated earlier, but we said no, we really want it to be the 3.5. So
yeah, I was thinking it was 3, but if it's 3.5, okay, we'll find a good use to that.
Yes, it will. It's intended to be 3.5. So please let me know if it's not.
Understood. Thank you.
But in terms of that, we did give that $500,000 early. What have you spent it on? How is it going? Like, give us a little update there.
So I would have to come back to you with a complete breakdown.
Okay. So
we do have some emergency contracts in place that we've spoken about in previous meetings. One of the items earlier today was for an additional ditch grading. It was just over $500,000. Mm-hmm. Whether that's a direct correlation with that 500 that you're asking about, I'd have to circle back on. But that's been our most recent changes to add that $550,000 or so contract.
And we've noticed multiple contracts coming through. Are there any contracts outstanding that can expect to come to us to do any additional work at this time?
I am not aware of any pending contracts,
okay,
but again, I'm happy to look at what our procurement status is on contracts.
Okay, I appreciate that. That would be great to have the 11th. And then one more thing is that we got a lot of email about about a backhoe behind the Church of God along the train tracks between Lois and Manhattan that showed up, was there for apparently a photo op, and then disappeared. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know complete details on it. It happened while I was on leave, but my understanding was that we came back and completed the work that had started at that point. Again, happy to circle back, and if there's something that's outstanding there that remains to be done, then we'll figure out what the timeline is.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilman Carlson.
Yeah, I would like to say welcome back also. Very happy that you're at least in this interim position, and appreciate all the collaboration from you and your team. So from where you are now in citywide, but in particular in South Tampa where most of the flooding happened, Can you tell us what the timeline is for the remainder? How much more time do you all need to go through the rest of the maintenance?
That's a good question. Let me
Is it months
maybe
or
speak a little
years?
less directly to that, but I would like to say, I failed to mention before, we have a work order map that we have not yet published. It's imminent that it'll be on the website. So I think some of these questions and some of the things appended to the report I mentioned last month, we have like logs of where we have been. They're maybe not the most user-friendly, but we put them there in anticipation of a more user-friendly format of presenting to the community. I anticipate that being available I'll say imminent. I know they're meeting even this afternoon to try to tie up.
When the second stormwater tax was pitched in, I think, 2015 or 16, there was a promise made to the public that maintenance would be done in every area within 3 years. And we've seen that maintenance hasn't been done in some place in decades. So does that mean, is it a 3-year cycle to do the whole city of maintenance, or is it a few months? I know you're putting extra resources, but it's not something you can do within a month or two, correct?
Correct, yeah. I mean,
So
it's a longer time.
Is it
timeline than that.
years or months?
It is, so our service level for ditch grading, and the expectation that is, that we had committed to in that service assessment, as far as I understand it, is a 7-year cycle. That is a commitment to inspect and then to respond to what those inspections uncover.
I think especially since you're here now, whether you get the permanent position or not, you've been able to help with a lot of transparency. You're talking about the map that's coming up. What the public wants to know is tell us. They don't want photo ops. They want to know the truth about what's going to happen. And so if it's going to take 7 years or 3 years, the more information you give about the timeline, where it goes, what the level is. If you dig a ditch and you dig it by a little bit, but you're going to have to go back in a year later and dig it deeper, that just the transparency on that would be good, instead of and I'm not accusing you of doing this, instead of somebody creating a photo op of, oh, look, we're digging it, but okay, the public knows we didn't dig it deep enough or whatever. So the more transparency you can give, the better it would be. Yeah, and then do you know what, once all of that's done, is there going to be a schedule like every 3 years? Like how, if somebody's ditch was dug last month, the next time will be 3 years, or will it be 7 years, or do you have any, what's the regular schedule?
So that regular schedule should, at this point, be 7 years. I know we are looking at different options for service level expectations and what that might cost and what the implications might be in terms of the assessment itself. So I without being able to give you like a real detailed answer right now, I can tell you that investigation is happening and that we will have those details to share in the near term. I would say this toward the end of this calendar year. We're getting
and
close
two
to
other
it.
points which are not in your domain, and so I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking in general. City Council, right now, it's published when we're going to go on our City Council break next summer. And so this year's schedule was published a year ago. And we do that so that everybody can plan. And it's not just City Council that's gone. The aides are gone, and some clerks and others are gone during that time. I was very disappointed to see the day after our last meeting, so in effect the beginning of our break, there was an announcement that the mayor was going to have 4 meetings, town hall meetings about stormwater around the city. And at least I was not informed about it, and one of them was in my district. And by the way, all of them were scheduled during the time that we were gone. And so the public sees that as an effort by the mayor to circumvent City Council. And again, I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking in general. It doesn't build trust, and if somebody in whatever department was trying to pull a fast one on City Council, it didn't work because the public doesn't agree with it. The second thing is that, there are some advisors to the mayor that act like spoiled children sometimes. They sent out a memo after I spoke 2 weeks ago and said, "You're a liar, liar, liar. You lied. There aren't areas that haven't been cleaned in decades." But we have testimony from the public in many meetings, and we have videos. There's even a whole Facebook page that has them. And I would encourage anybody who's interested, email me and I'll send you to the Facebook page. You can see, and I can walk you through the environments to show where the maintenance had not been done in decades. Instead of pointing fingers and saying liar, 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 what we should be doing is working on how to fix it. And instead of looking at it as a PR solution, we need to look at it as a real solution. I think now I'm going to speak to you again. I think you and UN and others, and Jeff, others in the department are genuinely trying to solve the problem with the resource you have. We just need to take the politics and the crazy PR stuff out of it, and really focus on solutions, because that's what the public expects. They're terrified that their houses are going to flood again, and people's financial livelihoods and everything have been turned upside down. And what I found in working with staff like you is that you all have been incredibly generous in trying to help individuals. All we need to do is be more transparent on the communication. Thank you.
Councilman Maniscalco.
Thank you very much, sir. A specific question. Habana is paved by the county, correct? Habana,
Habana?
Yes.
That would be us.
south of Hillsborough.
Yeah, I believe that's us.
Okay. The storm drains that are south of Hillsborough, let's say south of Martin Luther King, it was brought to my attention the other day, and I live on Habana, but I shouldn't even say that. You know, someone might appear, but because they appear at church and they appear at other places. The storm drains they're blocked. I mean, there's concrete in front of one storm drain. Others are overgrown. I know that I see this on Armenia Avenue, and Armenia is maintained, north-south roads, whatever, by the county. But on Habana, do we maintain that road? Do we maintain those storm drains?
Yes.
Okay. So then what I'll do is, and they'll just, I'll send photos to you or the
Sure,
department. There's no available flow. I mean, there's some broken concrete in front of one. There's weeds and grass growing out of another. It's just clogging up the system. So that was just my thing.
Yeah,
But,
please do send them my way.
Thank you very much. And again, to echo what Councilman Carlson said, we appreciate what you're doing. I mean, I think you and your team are going above and beyond. But as hurricane season is now here, people are terrified, and we have that dedicated funding with that special assessment, which we'll be having a workshop on stormwater further. But just the maintenance can go such a long way. And I think that's the biggest thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brandon. All my questions have been asked and answered already. We appreciate you